Okay, here we go. Plus the sword proficiency, no, that's fine. DNW progress, equipment status, certain exceptions will play, obviously. Materia, items, playtime, acquired gil. Alright, that's fine. That's nice though, we don't really need to do any of that. Let's just save. And nice little scene, although we didn't really get to see what it was. Just scene. Alright, fair enough. No, we already saved. Okay, so, final thoughts, because I did skip the credits, because, screw them, I'm not gonna sit here and watch the credits while you guys get the blue screen and not hear my final thoughts. So, obviously, right off the bat, stupid decision on behalf of Square Enix to cut out the final scene there for people who are just streaming normally. It's kind of hard to give a game a good praises when they do that, and kind of hard for people to help advertise for them. It's free advertising, but some companies are just like, no, we want to spend money advertising, not doing it for free. But whatever, that's on them. As I said, the ending is just basically the PSP version. Unfortunately, Zack dies, and yeah, Cloud just kind of goes on and does his thing. You can watch the exact same ending on YouTube. I'm pretty sure it's on other sites as well. You can probably just watch it there. I'll link the ending in the description below if I can find a good enough version. Shouldn't be too hard. And yeah, because that's just stupid. But for whatever reason, my remote play just would not connect to my PlayStation. Maybe it's because I was streaming, or was trying to, probably just because I was streaming. But yeah, it just would not go through, despite my efforts. I know it wasn't because it was a block scene, because I tested it up before, and it worked perfectly, so, that said, Thursday morning, I might, if I can, try and stream the final chapter. That's chapter 10 of Final Fantasy VII Remake. I know I've been saying that for a long time to get that all done, but okay, I haven't really been saying it. I've been thinking it. I will see if I can't do that on Thursday. With remote play, the only thing with remote play is that it does tend to disconnect. I've noticed a few times, but we'll give it a try. Hopefully it works. If not, then I'll have to figure something else out. Instead of figure out the whole capture card thing. Anyways, general thoughts on the game. It did seem a bit rushed. Like, the story was a bit rushed. We're introduced to characters in scenarios where it's like we had to know them for a lot longer. Like we didn't get to know Angeal or Genesis before they did their thing. So there was really no emotional impact aside from watching Zack's reaction. Like we did the first mission with Angeal, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, Angeal is leaving, and he's gonna do potentially evil stuff, and now he's an enemy of you. So hope you got enough from that first mission, because yeah, that's basically about it. In Genesis, you got even less time to know who the hell he was before he did his thing. I mean, he was doing his thing before the game the story even really started. So, I don't know. It's kind of weird. The email system was a bit, I think, as a means of them just basically going, okay, well, we need to establish this point, but we could either actually show it, or we could just throw it in an email. And they just kind of threw it in an email. I mean, if you hadn't done the Seven Wonders quest in Nibelheim, which we did do last week, then I don't think we would even have gotten an explanation as to why Nibelheim was even rebuilt, because it was all explained in that email. And then Zack did his whole shock thing like, oh, Nibelheim was burning the last time, and we never really got a chance to go around and talk to the citizens, which is a bit weird. You think that, like they could have just had like one citizen standing on the outside and being all like, hey, this is Nibelheim. It's always been this way. Who are you? And your weird shoulder pad, pauldron, big sword wielding thing. And what's wrong with that guy? Why is he all comatose? So, like stuff like that. And then Lazard, just kind of leaving. That was handled in an email, and so we got like no emotional reaction from Zack until we find out that he's got NGO genes in him now, because we just didn't see that. It just happened, and again we were made to feel something, but we didn't, because again we didn't know Angeal and we didn't really know Lazard. But something like that. So I did kind of feel like starting the game, I kind of felt like we're going to get like a prelude chapter. Like we'd just jump into the action and find out about these guys, and then chapter 3 or 4 would be the chapters before, just explaining everything that's going on, explaining the characters. But so that chapter never came, so we never really saw anything about why Genesis did his thing until the end. And in the end, it was just about a goddess who was actually there, maybe. And then he went to the live stream, but then he didn't. So it's just super confusing for someone who just kind of played the game for the first time. I'm pretty sure that there are other outside works where everything is explained. I know Square Enix is nefarious for this, where they will explain things in their ultimatums or whatever the hell those books are called. Or it's like, this is what we wanted to do, this is how we wanted to explain it, but rather than actually work on explaining it, we just wrote it in this book instead. So, some issues there, and I can understand why things are confusing. It's a whole rabbit hole in trying to explain the whole, Final Fantasy VII Remake situation and its whole story. It's a collective effort, and there's a lot of work that has to be pulled from those books just to explain, about certain characters and the motivations of what's going on and why the goddess there at the end there was such a big deal, and why Jenova is all this other stuff. And it's a confusing thing going on over there with Square Enix, and I know they're trying to do the whole reason of the Final Fantasy VII Remake project is to basically culminate everything and just have it make sense, but it kind of doesn't. It's not finished, but Crisis Core in itself doesn't really make sense. We just beat the game, and as I said, the ending you can look up on YouTube. You can watch the PS4 ending, the Xbox ending, the PC ending, or the PSP ending. They're all the same. And even then, it's like, do you know what happened? Because I don't. I don't know what happened. But it's whatever. But yeah, we'll see what goes on as the Final Fantasy VII Remake project continues on. Obviously, the next part is next year. That's the PS5 version. Hopefully by then I'll have everything settled, so that I won't have to worry about stupid situations with chapters being blocked or videos being blocked for whatever reason, aside from Square Enix just wanted to go, hey, you just can't do that. So yeah, overall thoughts, the gameplay was good. I was a little nervous about the slot system, because I thought the slot system was more controlling in your actions and stuff, but it just turned out to be a bonus. Sometimes I didn't even notice what things were doing. I didn't even know what Endeavor did. Still don't know what Endeavor did. but you know, it did what it did. Yeah. Let's see, what else? I already explained about the story, the characters, gameplay, and all that other stuff. Like, I think, all in all, I never played the PSP version, so I can't, tell you about the connections between them. The mini games were interesting. Some of them were a bit could have been reworked, like the missile one, where you're Zack and slicing down missiles that are coming for the Benora town. That was kind of needed to be reworked because it was just basically like a sideways view, and that was it. Until the last one, which didn't even know that was the last one. It was just kind of a funky camera angle type way of saying, "Hey, now you're doing this one," and I missed as a result of that. But whatever. The sniping one was interesting, although looking back on that now, if I were to ever redo that one, I would just put the points into attack, and I would probably just run around spamming enemies so that I could just max out the attack build. I know that there's a few other mini games and stuff. The quests, the missions or whatever, were very repetitive. I don't regret not finishing those. In no way. I'm fine with how the game, or how I was when the game ended. I had no troubles, aside from certain enemies that with their heightened defense. But that's because they're end game enemies, and that's fine. Let's see, what else? I think that's about it. Aside from what's coming next for Wally Weasel, and I think it's obvious because Kingdoms of Amalur, that's coming back. That's going to be returning as our Monday game starting next Monday, and because as I said, as it says in the playlist, Kingdoms of Amalur was put aside for Crisis Core, and now Crisis Core is finished. We can go back and hang out with all those guys, which will be fun. Start that next week. Tomorrow, just new game because last week we finished Star Ocean. We'll be doing Blue Reflection. Yes, that is the new Tuesday game, Blue Reflection. So it should be an interesting game. Did play like a few hours of that, as I mentioned before, like last week. It's not too bad. I reloaded it just the other week. Just to see, remind myself of how I was going. And yeah, not too bad. Wednesday, again, we'll be continuing on with our Mass Effect. I think I know what I want to do. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be stupid, but that's kind of the playstyle that I'm going for with that game. Keeping out of sanity and all that other stuff. Aside from all that, thank you all for tuning in, and we will see you next time. Bye, everybody.